What's up, my friend? Abby here, and the lovely, wonderful, amazing K.A. Emmons, my awesome sister, who just published another book, but she published a book last year, The Blood Race, which is her debut novel in the Blood Race series, and the second book in the series, Worlds Beneath, is coming out July 1st. So I'm super pumped about today's video. I've been teasing it kind of all week long and saying that this video is going to be super exciting and super exclusive because today we're doing an exclusive interview with K.A. Emmons, my sister.
Darling sister!
So I won't have you introduce
like an
yourself.
Exclusive interview in like an epic trailer voice, like
Exclusive interview. So I wanted to make this interview like actually fun and not annoying. Like a lot of interviews are just like, you know, boring
Dry.
questions. Yeah, dry.
cut and dry.
Cut and dry. So there's nothing cut and dry about us, so I just want to bring some life to it and some fun. So hopefully my questions are good.
Super pumped to be on Abbie's YouTube channel and be able to talk with you guys. I am personally an extremely loyal follower of this right here in life, on YouTube, on everywhere, so I'm super pumped to be on Abbie's YouTube channel today talking about the book.
Thank you very much. Okay.
You're welcome.
First question is kind of boring, but there it is. How long did it take you to write Worlds Beneath?
Oh, this is such a boring question. So every writing process is different. Worlds Beneath was quite a bit different from The Blood Race, but all in a good way. Every single book I've ever written has been different because writing is just such a, I don't know, it's like breathing to me. Every single day you wake up and get out of bed is different. It's going to be a different process. It's not going to be the same process as before, and I never expect that. Worlds Beneath took about a year for me to write because I was writing it off and on. My husband, then fiance, was on deployment, so I had a lot of things on my mind. It was also super therapeutic to write during that time, and it really helped get me through, and it helped the time pass quicker, and it was just explosive and the best possible thing that could have happened to me at that time. And I really enjoyed writing it, and I'm glad it took that long because it needed to. It kind of like it needed that time and space to really fully develop, if that makes sense.
I agree. It should be like whenever it comes out right,
yeah,
is like the right amount of time.
100%, because like you can write anything in any span of time, but that doesn't mean it will be good or valuable or mean anything if you're just like jamming it in because you feel like you need to write it in a certain time frame.
Right, yeah, exactly. Where did you write most of the book, and what was the most unusual place in which you wrote the book?
I wrote most of it in my office and at the dining room table. In our parents' house, the dining room table, which is like a legendary dining room table.
It's a legend.
It's a legend, this dining room table.
We've written there for like 15 years.
Yeah, man. Like I remember back in the day when we were like, I was writing a mystery series on printer paper with like ink pen, and Abbie was writing something similar, her own
spin-off.
Yeah,
from yours.
Yep.
As usual.
I don't really think I wrote it anywhere other than in this house.
Okay.
I typically don't write outside.
Well, it's not interesting.
I know, it's not. It really isn't. Yeah, I wrote it mostly just at my desk and at the dining room table is all I can think of right now.
Approximately how much coffee do you think you consumed during the production of Worlds Beneath?
Oh my gosh, this is a difficult one. I need a sip. Numerous pots of coffee, and there were days when, and I don't recommend this because coffee in large amounts really isn't that good for you. There were days when I was drinking a whole pot of coffee. There's something about sitting at a desk writing a novel that just makes you want a cup of joe.
So anybody who has read Worlds Beneath knows that if they're in their right mind, they know that the world building in Worlds Beneath is out of this world. So what was your favorite part of building and creating these new landscapes in the second book?
My favorite part was writing the forests because there's lots of forest, mountain type of elements in the book, and honestly throughout the whole series. But I just love that vibe. I love writing about nature. I love being out in nature. I love being in the mountains, by lakes. I love being in the woods. My favorite part of the world building was just writing in that element and just spending a lot of time writing about nature, writing about being in nature.
So this is my favorite question, personal favorite question. What would you rather be able to do? Shift into a hawk or channel energy orbs?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question.
Right?
I would definitely shift into a hawk 100%.
Yeah,
because I would just, yeah, exactly. How awesome would that be? You get to fly, you have incredible vision, and it's a superpower in and of itself, being able to shift shape.
Yeah.
So I'm into it. What about you?
I don't know. I couldn't figure out what I'd want to do because I can see where like channeling energy would be really helpful and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're both cool. I want to do both. What character do you most identify with and why?
I would say the main characters, Hawk and Icarus, also Finn. Those three characters, I can relate to things with each of them. With Icarus, constantly searching oneself, searching for identity, searching for purpose. That's something I've always felt within myself. With Hawk, learning to let things go, learning to not drag things around, learning about finding out who you are, the warrior within. That's a constant pursuit in my life. That's why it's such a major theme in the book, because I believe we all do have a warrior within. Our true identity is below the surface, and it's full of potential and it's powerful. And that's something I live every single day to try to find. With Finn, just so many things with him, like just his inner struggles and how emotional of a character he is. I can relate to that too. So those three I can relate to hardcore, and I learned stuff from each of those.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like a lot of readers can also identify with all of them on some level.
Yeah.
I can definitely identify with Finn and like his perfectionism and
Yeah.
how he like beats himself up for not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
If you weren't a writer, what would you be?
I would be sad. Like, I wouldn't mind being like one of these people who does like travel videos for YouTube and also like travel photography and makes money off of YouTube kind of thing, because I like traveling, I like taking photos, I like filming videos. So if I like had nothing else to do, I can see where that would be really fun to do that, or start some other kind of small business.
What was the weirdest thing you had to research for Worlds Beneath? Or just the most unusual thing?
Generally, I think some of the weirdest stuff I have to research for the series in general is just things that have to do with like wounds and how wounds would heal and how long it would take to heal them and what they would look like, or how a person would get a wound, or like how someone would get injured with a weapon. And I always feel like creepy looking at us, because it's like, I promise I'm not trying to like injure somebody. I'm just a writer trying to figure out like, if this happened, how would it look, how would it heal, how would it occur, all that stuff.
If you could bring one character to life in the real world, who would you choose?
Oh my goodness.
Please pick Finn so I can marry him.
Oh my gosh, that's hard to just choose one, because there would be like 4. Yeah, like Icarus, Hawk, Finn, Sensei. But honestly, I would probably maybe choose Sensei, because I could like learn so much, and he could be like my life coach.
Yeah, he could probably like do the most good
Yeah.
in the real world.
Yeah, so from a like moral, spiritual, self-help perspective, I would choose Sensei, because like I could learn so much and gain so much wisdom. Second, probably Finn.
Good. I need a Finn in my life. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
Without giving any spoilers, what can you tell readers who have already read Worlds Beneath what to expect from book 3?
Ooh. What to expect from book 3. Book 3 is going to be completely different. And I don't want to say too much more than that. But if you've read book 1 and book 2, you know where book 3 is sort of kind of going. And the flavor is going to be different, just like I feel like every book of this series has been different from the one before it. So I kind of think of it as like serving up a meal, like it's going to be a different flavor. It's still gonna have some of the same ingredients, but there's a distinctly different flavor that I'm excited about bringing to the proverbial table.
Yeah, I'm in the midst of beta reading book 3 and it is amazing so far, so I know you guys are gonna love it. What advice would you give to a young adult author who's just finished writing a novel and wants to publish it?
The first step I always recommend is reading your own work and editing your own work, which we've both talked about a lot. And it's so beneficial. Read and edit your own work, even if you're going to get an editor, which is a good next step to think about taking it. Getting an editor that you really like. My editor is awesome. I really enjoy chatting with her and seeing what she has to say about my work. Her feedback is always incredibly helpful. So I recommend finding an editor that you can trust and have a good relationship with, that you're getting good feedback and it's helping to improve your craft. But before you do that, I would say read and edit your own work. Get a few beta readers, not a ton of beta readers, because I think a lot of people are like, oh my god, I'm gonna get a bunch of beta readers, and they send it out to like 20 people. That's like way too much. Like, send it to 3 people, because no matter what you do, there will always be people who will be like, oh, that component, I didn't really like that one as much as this component. And then another person will be like, wow, you know, that component, I love that. That was my favorite part of the whole book. So you cannot write it like trying to please everybody. So keep that in mind as you edit and as you find beta readers, that you don't have to take every single piece of advice you get. Send it to like 3 people you really trust and start editing your own work before you send it off to an editor and a proofreader. And as you do that, start doing some of the research. There's some awesome resources out there that we've taken advantage of that are about self-publishing. There's some great resources out there that are totally geared towards helping young authors get their work out there. And we live in an age where the gatekeepers have left their gates. We have access to our readers directly. So do your research, start editing your own work, find 3 beta readers you trust.
That's good advice. That is all. Whoa, that was stupid.
Like, when you're reading Finn, do you read him in an Irish accent?
I try to sometimes, and it is so hard. Like, I do all the accents in my head while I'm reading, and then I read like 3 times slower.
When I'm writing Finn, I do remind myself that I'm writing in a bit of an Irish accent.
I can't do Irish. I can't do much accents. British accents sometimes.
British accents sometimes are really quite... It makes you feel a bit posh, doesn't it?
It makes me feel very posh, yes.
Quite posh, actually. Especially when you're there drinking your tea.
Yes.
Drinking your tea in your British accent.
Drinking tea and writing the next book and just enjoying your entire life.
See, I'd rather be getting angry, drinking my coffee, writing my novel.
So, Worlds Beneath is now out for sale on Amazon. You can get the paperback, you can get the ebook. I will leave the links to that in the description.
Such a surreal feeling!
Links to it in the description below, and you need to just go and buy this book and read it because it is amazing. It is my favorite book that my sister has written, and I've read all of her books. I am so privileged. I've gotten to read all of her works in progress, and this book is my absolute favorite. It is amazing, and it will just like totally... You'll love it. Just go, click the link below in the description and buy that book and start reading it today. So that's the end of our interview, and yeah, thank you so much for being on my YouTube channel and sharing your fun stories about the writing process and how much coffee you drink and your awesome Irish accents.
No, it's awesome. It was awesome to be here and to share in the awesomeness of your YouTube channel and talk about the book, and your questions were by far the best interview questions I've had.
Thank you.
I expect no less from Abbie. I know, like seriously, that's part of the perks of being sisters though. It's like I get to read like all her books that like you guys maybe like a while from now will get to read, and I've already read them and wept over them.
Yay! So, if you liked this video, smash that like button and be sure to leave a comment below. Tell us what you thought of all this. Tell us about your works in progress and if you drink coffee or tea. And can you do—
There's only one right answer to that question. It's not tea. Tea is not the right answer.
And be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I share all kinds of writing tips and fun inspiration and maybe some more interviews to come in the future on this channel, and also like inspiration and cool stuff every week, every Monday, every Monday.
Monday and Wednesday,
and Wednesday
smushed together.
Monday and Wednesday just kind of smushed together.
Do I get to do the honorary rock on?
I don't know. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared.
Okay, Katie's gonna do the honorary rock on.
Or should we both do it together and hit
We'll both
this
do
one?
rock on, and Katie will have the honor of high-fiving the lens. So, here we go. Love you guys so much. We will see you around.
Rock on!